Some other groups, 2 wins have been enough to go through, but it's not going to be enough for Phil Parkin, so he's going to have to come up with one more here. Dry break, so Phil does get the first chance.
Red ball's in play.
He's come slightly further than he wanted, but can reroute up the table. Prefer just to run that through. He was always going to leave this ball straight or close to straight to the opposite middle. Just made that last pot a bit easier, not have to do too much with the cue ball. Fair bit of margin here, just needs to come down the left hand side of the table. Or in fact had enough of an angle that he could come through that gap. So he's just going to run this through. No need to do anything too much there. It was always going to be fairly straight on the 8 ball. Match he needs to win. Good start from Phil Parkin. First frame on the board. Oh, cue ball tracking towards the corner, but just banged out of the way. Come up dry though. Better dry than in off, given where the cue ball's finished up. At least from Phil's perspective, it's not leaving Matt so many choices. Based on the way the last day and a half has gone, you'd have to predict this to be a close match. We've seen very few one-sided matches on this table. Ooh, and that was just because he was queuing over. You could see just having to stretch. It was a kind of unnatural position. He's got himself to play that shot. Just got into the cue ball a bit more than intended. Wasn't going to be a great spot even if he was on that ball. He had a very tight shot into the middle, but that would have been a whole lot better than what he's left with now. Couldn't do much with that. Had to sacrifice any kind of attempt at a pot. Just had to try and make contact. Decent chance for Phil, but not an easy one yet with that position of the red that's tied up on the right hand side of the table. Stephen Jameson's just stepped into the commentary box alongside me for this must-win match.
Just had to pop the kettle on in the meantime. This will be a good one, this one.
Yeah, dry break from Matt in the first one. Phil stepped up. This time a dry break from Phil. So here's the last match in play. 234 matches completed to this point to
Cool, that's a stat. Love that.
I've even had to take into account that there was a player missing in one of the groups.
Your maths knows no bounds, Mr. Shepherd. Yeah, the draw just shaping up quite nicely, actually. And it's one of the few things we don't know the outcome of. We're in Group 15 here. And how the table is currently set, Phil Parkin must win. That's fairly simple for him. And if he wins, he will eliminate our fan dad. If Phil loses, there's no way for him to qualify. His frame difference is too low. So it's a must-win match for him. And if he does, our fan dad is out. As for Matt Cooke, if he wins, he would actually go top of the group. He'd usurp Aaron Davies. And if he loses, he's probably going to finish third due to frame difference, unless it ends up in a deciding frame. But let's just keep it nice and simple and just say win or loss and assume it won't be a decider. Difference between being first and third, of course, is a draw. So if he finishes third, he would face young Cohen Bradford in the last 64, and if he finishes first, he would be up against... There's a lot of fixtures to get through. My apologies. Talk amongst yourselves. That's what I saw a moment ago. Yes, Eddie Barker. So, yeah, win this match and it's Eddie Barker. Lose this match and it's Cohen Bradford.
Eddie and Matt Cooke, good friends.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't want to play each other in a strange way, but... Talked a lot in the last game about how you can do a bit of draw spying and see... Oh, that's unlucky. That's so unlucky. You can do a bit of draw spying and sort of find out what works for you. And I'm sure if, for example, your last 64 was win this match and play a qualifier or lose this match and play Tom Cousins, it would certainly have a bearing on the match for Matt Cooke. But I think with you know, he won't be too bothered either way, really, who he faced in the last 64. So I think it makes it a little bit more relaxing for him. He doesn't have to put himself under too much pressure. Phil Parkin's case is slightly different. He has to work pretty hard here, and if he can get over the line, it would be a big one for him.
Be a big name going out as well, because it's our fan dad that he'd be displacing from that qualifying spot. Yeah,
and that would be a surprising exit, you've got to say, for our fan, who probably came into this group as the group favourite. But he's played 5 matches, lost 3 of them. That Phil can't get to third, so if Phil wins, he will play Jack Whelan. Because Chris Alexander's frame difference is too much. Phil's is -4, Chris's is 8. So if Phil wins, he will go fourth and he'll play Jack Whelan. So congratulations on making it out the group. But you are in fourth, you can run into some very good players, and he will do that. Draw is steadily taking shape.
Right now, Phil is in good shape to make his way out. He's done what he needs to in the first 2 frames. I have to say, though, there's been the pattern of pretty much every match we've seen where whoever's gone ahead has been immediately pulled back into a match. Be a good result for Matt Cooke if he wins this group. Always a solid player, but not necessarily the favourite to win the group outright. Played very solidly this weekend. One of the players that's benefited from this format. A few guaranteed games. Ooh, just had to avoid that red. Didn't have a lot of pocket to play with there. So the pattern of the match continues. Phil back to the table with a chance. And a pretty good one. All 6 reds have a pocket. fairness to him, played like a man under too much pressure. From the get-go, he's looked pretty confident in this match.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Phil Parkin, and I think he thrives in the arena setup. One of those players who can really buzz around a table and run racks when he's playing well and with confidence. I think his emergence earlier on in the year, running to the Players' Championship final, probably just gave him that little boost that he really is able to compete on the very top level. And you know, you can believe that, but how much it must bolster that belief when you actually sort of see it come into fruition a little bit is something that can't really be quantified.
And you kind of know that everyone else has seen it as well. Like you believing it and everyone else going, yeah, but have you actually done it? It's very different once you can say, well, actually, yeah, I have. You watched that was a big performance.
Yeah, he didn't actually do a lot wrong in the final either against John McAllister.
We saw John McAllister on this table earlier on, and he looked pretty dominant there, even though he did lose the match.
Yeah, and they're not just big name players, they're big name players who are on form. Booming break from Phil Parkin, he can be pretty pleased with that. Just wonder what he decides here. He's taken 2 yellows off the table, and ordinarily you'd go for the suit with sort of a few more available options, but I think the yellow to the bottom left goes clean, and if that's the case, I think you have to take yellows here, really.
Yeah, there's a couple of problems with reds, because there's the one that's tied up next to the yellow at the bottom of the table. There's one that's not in a great spot near the middle pocket. I think this is alright, because if he's going to have a semi-difficult shot to the left middle to start. Well, in fact, he's going right middle. I thought he could go left middle, then hold for the one that he's playing now, but he's going to go the other way. Went for the spectacular, and it's turned out nicely.
Yeah, isn't that just Phil Parkin in a bit of a nutshell? Never afraid to stay away from the big shot.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone will be playing it quite like that, but be happy with the result. He's come a bit far on that shot. He's kind of ended up in no man's land. Can still pot this ball, but it's got a lot more angle than he wanted. That's exactly Phil Parkin in a nutshell, though. He's so good with the spectacular finishes. Sometimes it's the simple ones that do go astray. Oh, it was a fine cut, but leaves it short. Normally this table plays so quick. We did see a match earlier.
We did.
I think John McAllister, where both players managed to leave a ball short of the cushion, which is very unusual. John McAllister's, it was a straight pot on the black, which he left short, which was very costly as it went. Easy opening pot for Matt Cooke, but a couple of problems to come. I think that yellow is far enough away from the right centre that he can double the low of these 2 reds and cannon into the other one. That will remove 2 of his 3 problems on the table if he can get this shot right. Heart of the pocket, nicely judged. So 1 problem remaining at the bottom of the table. Does he try and find a cannon into it, or does he play red off cushion and off yellow to clear the pocket? Looks like he's lining up the latter option.
Extension call.
There's quite a gap here. This isn't a guaranteed shot.
Oh, that's disastrous. That couldn't have gone any worse.
It's a high tariff shot, that one. That was the one that would have opened the frame up. And right now, this is all going the way of Phil Parkin. This is more than he could have dreamt of.
Well, I know how Matt Cooke feels because, you know, 20 minutes ago I had the last Leibniz biscuit in the packet before the cup of tea arrived, and I really feel like I've missed out on a great opportunity through my own actions. And I bet that's exactly how Matt Cooke feels. But the consolation is, you still get to have your cup of tea, Matt. That's exactly what he can have now. There's the convoluted metaphor in full flow.
I'm trying to think what's going to be the second chance for you. I don't think any more biscuits are going to materialise.
No, sadly not. Sadly not.
Oh, we've got Tony Holgate here for company. Maybe he could make himself useful and see if he could find some more.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. That is absolutely incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Matt Cooke is just he's just giving the referee a little wink there. That's like super villain behaviour. I don't think Phil can do anything here. Can he squeeze it? He could. He's got away with it, Matt. Phil Parkin. Oh, he's giving the foul. He couldn't do it.
Wow, let's got everything going on this frame.
Let's have another watch of this. Yeah, good call. Looked like red first.
Yeah, it was a tricky call because in real time that happened very quickly.
Oh, you have to say Matt Cooke has had a right result there.
Well, it was a crazy outcome as well, because if that ball is just a millimetre further to the side, it's a re-rack. If it knocks it in, obviously the frame's over. Wow. If Matt Cooke goes on to win this frame, which it looks like he should now.
That's extraordinary.
Not a decisive frame, at least in the context of the match. If Phil Parkin had lost out on qualification as a result of that, that would have been a tough one to swallow. Still going to have a 3-1 lead, worst case. Could have done with coming a bit further over. It was tricky to force that angle. He did okay to get as far as he has, but got quite a lot of angle to work with now. Well, after that bizarre passage in the middle of that frame, it is Matt Cooke that falls over the line.
I mean, I just wonder if we can have another look at that incredible couple of shots. The first one is the Matt Cooke one, because he misses this plant by a mile. And it's good to see that Phil Parkin can obviously have a laugh about it. But this is an incredible fluke. Have another watch of this. So obviously he's looking to make the plant. Missed it by a long way. Watch where this red goes. If it pots the yellow, the frame's over. If it goes anywhere other than there, the frame's over. And then Phil manages to squeeze the yellow in, but he fouled in doing so. He played the red first. That is an extraordinary touch. That's because of how unlikely it was to benefit yourself in that position. That goes down for me as one of the craziest flukes I've ever seen.
So normality resumes. Matt gets underway in this frame. And a decent touch there as well. That ball wasn't going in until it kissed the white. Wow, having the run of the ball right now. Not a bad layout here. Just got the one difficult ball on the ball cushion. Can he get a cannon onto the yellow and red here? Oh, wow. Saying he's been having a decent run of the ball, as it so often does, it turns around pretty quick. worst case scenario as well for Matt. He's opened up the only difficult ball on the table. And it was still an open table, so Phil's got the choice of balls.
Red ball's in play.
Well, we say luck normally evens itself out over the long term. It may have evened itself out quite quickly. Pretty handy chance this for Phil. Play the 2 balls to the middle as a plant. The only thing that could go wrong here would be to push the one he's playing past the middle pocket and then not leave himself an easy shot. Played it well, played at that pace. He always had the saver to the top left-hand corner as well. He's played the one to the middle nicely, so that's there waiting. Just one more shot to play, just make sure he doesn't obstruct himself on the 8 ball. Played it well. So a decent break from Matt Cooke, but in attempting to cannon out that first ball, handed away ball in hand. A few slightly more one-sided matches, which is exactly what you'd expect given the way that the draw has been constructed, first v fourth. But
Oh, Phil's going to go dry here. He can't have too many complaints. Does he miss it, that break a little?
yeah.
Should have been in off twice, really.
I think what we're going to see is a few one-sided matches in that last 64, but then the talent is really going to concentrate once we get from the last 32 onwards. It's going to be no easy matches for anyone.
Red ball's in play.
Still impossible to pick a winner. The fact that we've got 9 players that have gone undefeated through a day and a half of play tells its own story. Still some storylines in there as well. Wasn't to be for 9-year-old Teddy White, but what an experience it was for him playing in the group stages. Could yet still be for 15-year-old Cohen Bradford. He's booked his place in the last 64. Matt Cooke is also in that draw, he just doesn't know where it is yet. Good chances to get it back to 4-2. It'll feel like he gave away that last frame slightly, but then it'll also feel like he stole the previous frame. So can't have too many complaints with the current scoreline. Oh, I'll have a complaint with that though. He's got right across that. Missed that pot by a long way. This is all just going kind of nicely for Phil Parkin. Probably expecting a slightly tougher game than this. He's just gone off to a good start and been given a few chances that he wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, and I hope for Arf and Dad's own well-being he's not watching this game, because it must be horrible having your game in someone else's hands anyway. But Matt's been miles off where he can be and really where Arfan needed him to be. Of course, Arfan can't blame anyone other than himself. He's got to win the requisite matches, but his only hope was to rely on Matt here. So far, the Cookie Monster has not exactly given us his best. Of course, he's earned the right to do that. He's safely qualified.
Yeah, I think he's looking a bit bemused. I mean, it's a bit annoying because this has been his first match out in the main arena. He obviously wanted to give a good account of himself. He hasn't done a load wrong, but he's just thrown in a couple of mistakes and he's just kind of lost momentum. Phil has always been ahead in this match and he's always looked, to this point, the more likely winner. Although
Very good front runner as well, I think, Phil. One of those players that can really buzz. taken out these really nicely as well. Lovely little route.
It's helped him that he hasn't been put under heavy pressure because of the importance of winning the match. If he'd have lost the first couple of frames, I think this match would have played very differently.
There goes Phil Parkin.
Ended well though, so something to build on at least. Struggling to get anything going, Matt Cooke. Not a bad break as such, but nothing finding a pocket. So right now, the way this group looks, Aaron Davis will finish top. Chris Alexander would take second if Matt can't turn this match around. Matt Cooke would be third, and Phil Parkin, if he gets over the line, will take fourth.
Yeah, Jack Whelan awaits him. Oh, that's a lovely shot.
Red ball's in play.
Tough out this though. It's no surprise to see Phil go for these. I mean, he's 5-1 up and playing well. Might as well sort of chance your arm a touch. He is the sort of player that is quite inspirational and can pull these finishes out of the fire when he's playing well. And I'll tell you what, he's got himself an angle. Red bottom left. Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, to cannon that ball into play and then go around the back of it such you've landed on it is ideal. Well, this is looking good for Phil Parkin. We know he's going to have a tough draw in the next round, but maybe falling over the line in this group is the wake-up call he needs. He does seem to be playing well.
Yeah, and I think he won't be afraid of John McAllister, Jack Whelan, that's for sure. Knows he's got the game there. Plays like this, he's a tough match for anybody.
He'll play one more good shot here though, because he's got himself a bit out of position. Well, has he just managed to play that slowly enough to hold? Shaking his head, but I think he can get through. Couldn't risk trying anything more extravagant there. There was just no easy path down this end of the table. He's coming around to look at if he cannoned the ball on the left-hand cushion, would he still be on the 8 ball? Because he's going to have a lot of pace on the cue ball here. He needs to keep it down this end of the table. Well, red sort of off yellow, but not quite towards the pocket. Great chance now for Matt. That red is pretty much dead where it is, so got the luxury of time on his side and all the balls in fairly open positions anyway. You'd think he'd just go for the clearance here because these are sat quite nicely, but it doesn't have to. Played that in a positive way. Could have been a temptation to screw that back just in case he rattled it, but played the right shot still. Have to play one more decent shot. From that angle it looks like he's got quite a lot of the pocket to aim for, but a little bit tighter than it looked. Phil's going to be kicking himself because he really wasn't far away from having this frame and match sorted out. So we've seen time and time again, when you let your opponent back into the game, things can turn around pretty quick. Played that shot well. It's got a decent angle on the ball to the top right. Just float it in if he wants. Take the ball to the opposite centre, or he can screw back out. playing very much within himself here. This has just been a steady, measured clearance. This is better from Matt Cooke. Just get himself into the match. Even if he goes on, sorry, Steve. Even if he goes on to lose this, I was going to say, at least he feels like he's been part of this match now.
Yeah, and you know.
Almost went straight into that middle pocket and got kicked around the table and came in at the second time of asking.
Yellow ball nominated.
Is this one of these situations where you have a good chance to win a match and then suddenly you go a couple of frames without having another chance?
Yellow ball's in play.
Not rushing into anything here. There's a bit to think about. There's a pocket for all the balls, but just a bit of congestion with everything largely down this end of the table.
It's a tidy little shot.
Yeah, it was just a little marginal gain, wasn't it? That ball did go, but it's much nicer from where it is now.
Yeah, a little minor sort of quality of life update there, wasn't it? Didn't need to do it, but nice to have.
Well, it certainly makes the position onto the ball in the bottom right corner easier as well.
Oh, that's a... Yeah, nearly fell into the old Mitchell and Webb look track there. But that was a bad miss.
So reassure the viewers that our commentary box doesn't quite resemble that one. Maybe by the end of play tonight.
Amazing how that isn't even the highlight of that particular skit for me in terms of the sports commentary bits. Boulder wide in the Ashes final is my personal favourite. Tony Holgate's looking at me like I'm speaking in a completely other language. I'll show you in the break, Tony.
I was assumed you modelled your commentary on this, Tony. This is a revelation to find you haven't heard it before.
Oh, I tell you what, if he's hit that gap, that's a lovely shot from Phil Parkin. Love the fact he's not tried to move it, but play on it. Has he not quite got there? No. Lovely work by the camera man there to spot that one. I think it's Andy out there on camera too. Nailing the angles. So the double then for Phil Parkin, second prize. Oh, he's played that well.
Not a lot of pocket to work with there. That's an important shot for him.
This is all about cue ball. Oh, how good is this? What? I say that, he looks a little unhappy. I assumed to play that he must be on the red to bottom right, but...
He was trying to bump into the red, but just caught the ball a bit off.
Well, I'm surprised. Maybe he couldn't, but I thought he was planning on landing underneath it to take it to the middle there. Oh, Phil Parkin
Lost the turn.
runs aground.
He's not going to like what comes next, because Matt Cooke is either going to go for clearance or he's going to put him in tight behind this yellow.
Yeah, I must admit, he looked a little thin on the red to bottom left there. But I do just wonder if he maybe could have held the cue ball low. I think bumping into that red asked a lot to happen with the final shot.
This is going to be 2 frames in a row where Phil's been in with a great chance to close the match out. I think in matches where you've had quite a lot of chances, you can get into the mindset of thinking that there are going to be more to come.
Yeah, yeah, not necessarily.
It always stops eventually. Can't afford to get too much closer to this black, so just have to settle for a bit of distance. Very makeable shot, but it's not a 100 out of 100 shot. Heart of the pocket though from Matt Cooke. Oh, that's harsh. He's rattled 2 balls in the jaw. Neither of them have gone in. So, another chance for Phil Parkin, and another decent chance.
Maybe they will keep coming. Certainly half an hour.
Red balls in play.
Straight on to what's probably the most difficult part. Just a little slice into the middle. Shouldn't be any problem with the 4 balls at the top of the table. The only issue is going to be getting a good transition. He's had a problem with the last red in both of the last 2 frames. He just wants to make sure this time, when he comes to it, it's going to be the ball next to the 8 ball you would assume that he'll leave as the last red. Just needs to get nicely on it. Played that cannon well. What he didn't want to do was to punt that ball onto the cushion. Kept it nicely in play. It was always ideal to leave the ball over the left centre as the link ball. Surely this time Phil Parkin will close out this match and will qualify himself for the last 64. Hasn't made it quite as easy as he should have done, but he's on the ball still. He's going to be pretty annoyed if he messes up the last red of 3 frames in a row. Shouldn't be a problem with the pot here. The only thing he's thinking about is how he gets nicely onto the black. If he can dig down enough, if he can screw over to the right side cushion with the reverse side, but I don't know whether he can quite get deep enough for that shot. He's trying to. Can he get enough? Well, no, couldn't get enough side to come high on it, so he's had to settle for leaving the black to the top right corner, which is a far more difficult shot than he should have had. Cue ball tight on the rail as well. So this ball to complete a 6-3 win and book his place in the last 64. And it's nowhere. It's absolutely nowhere. You must have miscued that.
Yeah, so far away from anything. Strange shot this. Yeah, yeah, that's a weird one. I'm not too sure what he's tried.
Well, this was a great start to the match from Phil, but that is 3 chances now he's had. Cooke right now. It's just been a case of sitting in his chair waiting and then come to the table and pot up all the loose balls at the end. Getting slightly uncomfortable now. If it does go 5-4, Phil is going to start to be under it. He's also well aware that his opponent isn't under the same pressure. If this was a straight shootout for the win, you'd be saying that now Matt's getting back into this match, he's going to be feeling it. But that isn't really a factor at all. I think really he just wants to drop this ball in the left centre, play the ball up the left-hand cushion, screw back out. Doesn't have too much to do, just needs to end up just off straight on the ball up the cushion. This is really the only place this clearance could go wrong. You wouldn't expect it to, but any ball on the cushion is missable.
Played that well.
Yeah, keyed it nicely. It's a good touch as well, just needed to bounce the ball far enough off the cushion that it was fairly straight.
Getting closer towards the end of this match, and it's not exactly going to be a comfortable seat right now for Phil Parkin. He's had his chances to win this match. He should have been home and hosed quite a while ago.
Well, that's better. A couple of balls down, White's safe. We were joking that he might not get any more chances. He has got a fourth chance now to close out this match. I don't know if he's got any starting reds, but you can see two of the yellows, so that will do him fine.
Yellow balls in play.
Probably not quite as easy a position you'd say as the last frame. Still cueing well, it doesn't seem to be affecting him in the early parts of the frame. Surely going to be talking about the pressure if he gets down to the last couple of balls. It must be going through his head that is he going to have a repeat of what's happened 3 times already.
I don't think it'd be human if he wasn't.
A couple of inches short of perfect here. Should still be okay. First pressure ball in this frame.
Extension called.
And this extension isn't so much because he's thinking about the position, it's more because he's steadying himself for this shot, which is a big one. Oh, he's rammed it into the jaw, but it has dropped. Got the 8 ball out, which was decent news. He's landed on the ball that he's got to take bottom left next. Oh, that's a better piece of cueing. That's much better. But this isn't a natural. He's got a pocket for this yellow, but he's got a shot to play to get onto the black. So what does he fancy here? Does he try to drop in a position to leave himself a cut up the rail, or does he play for a double? I don't think he's going to be able to leave himself an unmissable 8 ball. I think he's going to be under some pressure. So played the sensible shot, just left this at distance. How do you like this to book your place in the knockout stages?
Oh, it's tough, isn't it?
Well, you've got to say he's missed easier ones, but he has potted some good balls in this match.
This for the last 64. Bang. Phil Parkin gets over the line, and you can see there in his entire demeanour there is a lot of relief right there.